Hey, welcome to Mr. Felix Studios, and today I just wanted to look at my Season 2 Demon Hunter. Now, this character is not officially done, or near being done, for any of the gear. But I just want to give you a quick look at the concepts of what you'll go through when you're creating your Demon Hunter. And this build is based off the Marauders set, and off the Boomsack quiver. Except I don't have that, so we'll go into what I don't have and what I do have. But let's look at the skills really fast. Feel free to pause the video here. So this is going to be a fire spec, or I should say a fire skill tree spec. And it's going to be mainly based off your sentries, and that coincides with your actual Marauders gear. So we have sentries in our first device area, and this has Polar Station. The Polar just helps to chill everything, chill out the mobs, keep them in little groups so you can blast them with your multi-shot. And we're using Arsenal. And then Arsenal, every time you fire your multi-shot, will launch a ton of homing missiles, which does fire damage. And so you're going to be speccing into fire for your gear. Then for devices, we have, or should I say in action bar skills, we have Vengeance with Thief. This increases our hatred regeneration and does quite a bit of damage if you're getting to the point where you have a greater rift boss or just a rift boss. Then we have Companion with Back Companion. Now it doesn't matter too much on which companion you do have, but I like to have the actual hatred regeneration. Since we do have the Marauders here, all of your companions will be you'll be able to use, because that the gear allows that to happen. So what I'm thinking is by having the Back Companion rune, it will go to a physical rune and it will increase the generation. So it'll just be spec that way. So that's how I want to keep it. Then we have Preparation with Punishment. This instantly regains our focus and regeneration of hatred. So when you're fighting, you don't have your cooldown on your Vengeance yet. You'll just pop this and then you'll blast them a few times. And then we have Vault with Tumble. This is just to get out of areas, you know. You just travel around the map. Just like that. Then we have Custom Engineering. And we use this for our sentries to increase the charges of sentries. So more sentries. We don't want 2, we want 3. Since the Marauders gear gives us 100% bonus per sentry on the playing field. And we'll go into that here in a second. Then Coal of the Week, chilled enemies, 20% more damage. So that goes with the Polar Station, so you want to have the Polar up, and that will increase your damage. Then we have Awareness. This keeps you alive, kind of like the similarity to my Firebird build. You want to have, actually I can't think of the skill for the rune yet, but you want to have that survivability. Kind of like Blur in a way, but this actually keeps you alive once you die, but there is a cooldown every 60 seconds here. Then we have Ballistics, increases the damage of our rockets by 100%. And then let's read the side notes here. In addition, you have 20% chance to fire homing rockets for 150% of your damage. And these rockets are fire-based. So far, our main damage is fire-based, and that's pretty much what we're trying to go for here. So let's look at the gear. This will help, you know, figure out those little things if you haven't figured out so far here yet. We have the Marauders gear. Set 2 are 2 set pieces, companions. All companions are called. Set 4, sentries cast hatred spender when you do. And that's going to be, here, let me pop down my sentries. So when you cast your multi-shot with the homing rockets, your sentries are going to cast the same exact multi-shot with the homing rockets, so the Arsenal. So this, by the time you do this, you already have, if you have the Boomsack quiver here, you'll have upwards to 5 sentries shooting 5 times the rockets you normally would at 500% DPS. You do the math there, plus 100% to fire damage if you can spec into it, say like a Cinder Code, or you know, all the little meticulous skills along the way. So you're already looking at a ton of DPS. Now I would say this isn't a very good survivability spec, but you do regain a lot of health very fast. Now for your weapon, which is always so important to any class or any build, I have a one-handed Dawn Ancient. What you should really have in this case for a Demon Hunter is a two-handed crossbow or a two-handed bow. Anything two-handed, because by the time you fire your multi-shot, you're going to run out way too fast. And you're not going to be producing enough damage per that attack speed. So you want to slow it down actually. You want to slow down your DPS, but doing more DPS at a slower rate. So you can reserve your hatred and get a few more bursts out. And then for rings, I have not finished my rings yet, but we do have the Ring of Royal Grandeur here. This is a horrible ring for this character. I had to throw something in for the video here. You're going to definitely want to go dexterity up there. And if you can roll a natural socket like this has, then that's great. For your amulet, you're probably going to want to have fire. I have the fire one right here. This works for me. I did roll into it, so I wasn't able to do the critical hit damage. So it really comes down to how much you want to refine your gear. You know, you're definitely going to want to refine it, but I am missing quite a few items. There's many ways to approach it, but you're going to want to keep at least 4 to 5, actually 5 pieces in the Marauder's gear. Don't change up the helm. A lot of other builds like to spec in the helm for, I think it's reduced costs. I forget the name of the helm. I apologize for that. But reduced costs, by the time you have your two-handed weapon, you're not going to need that reduced cost. But other than that, let's look at the Paragon levels real fast here. We have movement speed, of course, spec'd in there. You want to be traveling around the map, and you want your maximum hatred up, because we want to continuously keep firing. You're going to want to go into critical hit chance, and I went to attack speed. I like it, but I think I might go into cooldown reduction. I'll have to play with it a little more. Armor for sure. Like I say in my other videos, your buffer tank here. This keeps you alive. And then I went to resist. I might change that. I might do like life regeneration, but I don't think that'd be too smart. Then we have life on hit. I like to keep life on hit. Since we're not using a cold build where we have our, let me show you guys real fast here. Our cluster arrow with our maelstrom. So we don't have that ability to replenish our health. So I like to keep my health relatively high. I don't like to die too often. But so far, with my gear being intermediate as it is, you're going to be expected to die. Now, life on hit here, and then I went to resource cost reduction. And that's always good, because you don't want to be wasting 25 hatred per shot here. You're going to be wasting less than that. So that's the basic skills and Paragon levels, and a little overview of your gear. For the two-handed weapon, let me quickly show you. You probably want to go the Unbound Bolt. Increases attack speed and critical hit damage. And if you can roll a natural socket, beautiful weapon. Sidru Crust here. I'm not sure if the damage against elites is going to be anywhere near what you want. I've seen Arcane Barb, and it works. Depends on if you get an inch or not, but I prefer the Unbound Bolt. I currently don't have enough Forgotten Souls. I probably could go get some here in a minute and make a few. But let's not do that. Let's just go into our Nephilim Rift here. I'm going to open this bad boy up. And also, you might ask yourself with the sentries, if they're out of range, you still get your Marauder set bonus to your damage. And that's really cool with this spec. Because if you out of range of your sentries, it takes a while for them to go off their cooldown. Alright, let's go up through here. We'll do a little tumble, set up our sentries, and let's blast. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. A little low on damage. We could use a little bit higher damage DPS here. But we're kind of going through this at a relatively nice pace. I'm just going to pop Vengeance here. Oh, yeah. See? A little squishy, but we do have the DPS. I'm not, I guess you gotta stay moving, right? I think they have reflect damage too, so that always hurts. Well, that was actually not bad for this character. And the Demon Hunter itself is just a damage arsenal. I mean, it's beyond. I think it does the most damage in the game. I could be wrong. You guys could be screaming at me in comments. No, it's the Crusader. Well, I'm not too sure anymore. But I just want to give you guys a quick overview. Oh, and there we go. We procced awareness. That keeps us alive there. So with the spec at an intermediate level amount of gear that I have, we're pretty much skillfully going through these rifts without any trouble too much. You know, there's a little technique to how you play the game. You know, you want to stay back, have your sentries perhaps in front of you, so in case they do walk, you know, towards you, they can be chilled. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. As always, check out the subscribe button on the screen there. Subscribe, that always helps me out. Feel free to like the video and share it, and just feel free to leave a comment or a few things in the links below. And have a great day, guys. I will see you again here shortly.